Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to this new temporary ongoing series here on Pez of the Mind. For those that don't know, 2018 is the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers, and specifically the month of August is the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers. And so, in honor of this, we are going to be giving out Power Rangers awards all month long, on and off. Best and worst for each era of Power Rangers, as it were, those being the Zordon era, the post-Zordon era, the Disney era, and then the modern era. Or Neo Saban, depending on who you ask.
Or new Saban, according to most stuff.
Or New Saban, all right. And so we're going to go ahead and give out the awards for the Zordon era today. This video, first off, will be the worst of the Zordon era, and then will be another video immediately following that'll be the best of the Zordon era.
Yep.
And if you do stay tuned after that, I believe Anastasia Lazenby is going to be joining us, and we're going to take a look at Ready Player One.
Yep.
All right. My list over here. All right. So, since I'm hosting, so we get to the usual and I end up at the end, why don't you go first, Mole? Do you want to start at the bottom and work our way back up?
We can do it, up to you.
Yeah, we normally do that. So, in that case, these are going to be a little bit, the order's going to be a little bit, but that's okay. We'll go with it.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll start at the bottom.
All right, starting at the bottom is the worst 6th Ranger suit. That's the suit belonging to a 6th Ranger of any season. For the record of those who might not be familiar, the era in question, the Zordon era, includes the three seasons of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Zeo
Basically,
Turbo.
the only era in which Zordon existed, because after that he died.
True.
It's simple. It's MMP Outer Space and the movies.
Yep, the first 2 movies. All right.
Yep, the good movies. But yeah, more on that. We'll probably want to get to the new era. But yeah.
Yeah.
Extra Ranger costume worst. I gave it to Silver Ranger in Space.
Okay.
I will say, in advance, we haven't seen each other's awards. I'm not trying to insult Jim's if he's given anything to anything I give worst or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's just a coincidence. However, MMPR, Green Ranger, holy fuck, he's got that cool shield. White Ranger, holy fuck, he's got all of that everything that Zordon went fucking high when he made him. Gold Ranger, he's got the cool shit and he's got the stat. Oh my god, that's so cool. Turbo, Phantom Ranger, oh my god, it looks like a Power Ranger crossed with a TIE fighter from Star Wars. That's cool. Silver, he looks exactly like all the others, but he's silver. it was kind of for me personally, it was really disappointing when you went from all of them looking really cool to him just being there. But that's the only reason I gave him my worst looking costume, because it's not about the characters for this, it's just the costumes, in case people wonder.
Right. Yeah, and I can understand that point. On my end, I give it to the Phantom Ranger only because I felt he was just so different from everything else. He didn't even really look that much like a Ranger, and I felt that it didn't look like a Ranger suit. It was just very heavily armored, and I felt like it didn't match up with other Ranger suits of any of the given era, and I just thought that it stuck out too much. Personally.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So next up is the worst regular Ranger suit. That will be the color being irrelevant. The suits worn by the 5 members of a main team of a season.
Alien Rangers. And now some people like, oh, they're so cool. They look like ninjas. Yeah, but so did the regular MMPR when they had their ninja underform before they turned into the main one, and they looked cooler. These just look like garbage. I did not like the Alien Ranger suits. More on the Alien Rangers a lot during this, but
that's fair. That's totally fair.
They're not mentioned at all during the next one.
Nope. So for Ranger suits, I think this counts. I gave it to, I believe it was in season 2 of MMPR, the regular MMPR suits, but with the stupid fucking sparkle armor.
I'll allow it as long as you didn't give it to Gadget later on. The reason why his Gadget can be power up, as we mentioned, but if you didn't give it to Gadget, then yeah, it counts.
Yeah, just the stupid fucking sparkle armor suits, because the idea is something about, oh, they're weak to whatever the villain is. I think it was Master Vile at the time, and who would come in and is like, oh, they're weak to whatever their Master Vile's attack, so let's give them this special armor. And the armor boost was, we're going to put glitter on the suit. It's like, really, guys? I know you had a cheap budget back then, but that's really cheap.
The reason why is because they made the suits more shiny, armored-ish looking, while they were still really cheap effects. It means the toys, they could then just sell all the movie toys again because the costumes were kind of like cheap versions of the movie. That's what I feel. Anyway, I haven't looked that up. That's what I think happened because the metallic armor seems like, oh, let's try and do the movie suits on like a really shitty budget.
Yeah, actually that would be about the right time frame too. That makes a surprising amount of sense. Fair enough. All right, the next award is the worst theme song.
Alien Rangers.
I second that.
Because it's exactly the same as MMPR, and I don't mind later on they've reused that a lot later on, that's fine. However, it just didn't sound right, because it was like, go, go, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. But in this one, it was like, go, go, Alien Rangers. And you're like, wait, what the fuck? Why did the voice change slightly on the word alien? And it just didn't sound like it matched up right, and it was like they were just sticking a knife in you every time they performed that song, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, pretty much. It just felt so awkward. It's like you clearly just inserted a word into an existing song. Like this was the laziest you could have been with changing this over. Even if it was only for a mini series, if you're gonna be that lazy, you could have just kept the regular theme song. There was no reason to change it.
Or use the instrumental.
Or that, yeah, just don't know the words.
Yeah, then just maybe at the end have Go Go Power Rangers.
Yeah, that would have worked just fine. Stupid.
It was terrible.
All right. Worst morphing sequence.
Space.
Oh. All right.
I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to say I liked all of the morphing sequences. Maybe not the alien one. I can't even remember what the fuck that was. Basically, they were all cool. And then space was just like entering a pin code. Like, what happens if a ranger forgets their pin code? They're going to be, oh, sorry, Andros, we can't save the world right now. I'm having to get a password reminder sent to me. Okay. Yeah. They're just asking for my mother's maiden name. Hang on, it'll only be a sec. Yeah. Wait. The email hasn't come through. Oh, wait. Have you checked your spam folder? Oh, my spam folder. Yep, there it is. Resetting password. Okay, now I can morph. It's like, no, it's completely impractical.
That is slightly impractical. I can agree with that. Even though I really like the Ranger, I specifically gave it to the Gold Zeo Ranger, Jason, specifically because he did the same morphing sequence as everybody else, despite the fact that he didn't have a wrist morpher.
Sometimes it's nice to be included.
No, it's like he didn't have a wrist. He didn't have a wrist morpher, and yet you're doing the same sequence. Like okay, fair enough. At least do it with like the staff in your hand or something to justify it. Like the staff was your morpher, and yet you're doing like why?
What he does is he puts the staff behind him. It's going to morph him anyway. He just does all that stuff because it's like Shrek with the scene where Donkey Ran goes Donkey when everyone's saying each other's name. He just wants to be included.
Okay.
Let Jason have his moment, dude. He just wants to be included.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give him that.
He's like Virgil at any Comic-Con.
That's true.
Or Jason at any peace conference.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right.
No, I can agree with why that was terrible.
Yep. So the next up is the worst mode of transportation that is not a Zord.
I'm going to stress I like this. I like this vehicle a lot. I really do. I really love this vehicle. However, out of all of them that they've had, I can't not justify this being the worst. The Rad Bug.
Okay.
Because the purpose is a Volkswagen Beetle to fly you to a place that you can fucking teleport to. And yeah, okay, there was one time when it became useful, but it's kind of shit. It's like, oh, look, all the superheroes are in a Volkswagen Beetle. Literally, Deadpool looked less silly when he was in a taxi, and he was supposed to be taking the piss. I give it to the Rad Bug.
That's fair. Yeah, I give it to, I believe they were called the Shark Cycles, purely because you're really pushing it with the theme at this point, and they used them for like 2 episodes.
They did, but I'll admit I liked them. I liked all the vehicles, but yeah, I can see why you would give it to them.
Yeah.
Also, none of them have a shark theme.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this feels like you're clearly just doing this so Bandai can sell toys.
Oh god, Cole's bike's going to be in next video, isn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
On the best, of course, because it single-handedly defeated Serpent Tower.
Yeah.
That makes it like fucking Brock Lesnar powerful.
Yeah, because that was Serpent Era, that tiny thing that clearly wasn't the size of a fucking skyscraper like it was the last time we saw it.
I put it to you, Undertaker being like WrestleMania against Brock, it still counts for the streak. Therefore, this still counts as Serpent Tower. They told us it's Serpent Tower. They've reused costumes before. Like, oh, look, it's the Green Ranger. Why the fuck's he got a silver trim?
That's fair.
It's Serpent Tower. He single-handedly defeated Serpent Tower.
Indeed.
And then he killed his roommate.
He did. All right. Next up is the worst ally or supporting cast member.
Technically, I have a three-way tie. It's more of a double tie than a three-way.
Okay.
Blue Centurion.
Mm-hmm.
Because what the fuck? It's basically a shit RoboCop.
Yeah. A really shit RoboCop.
And Bulk and Skull. They were funny for season 1. Then they quickly lost track. Like, when they're hiding, like, Rito and Goldar in their fucking shed, they're terrible. They have some redeeming quality, some people would say, in space with that speech, but it's completely undone.
Mm-hmm.
And the speech wasn't that effective anyway. It's just, oh, look, it's an I am Spartacus. Everything's done that.
Mm.
Bulk and Skull are just terrible. They're fucking garbage. I don't like it. Like, they were good at first. Like I said, they overstayed their welcome, if that makes sense. You can only do the same joke so many times, and they did the same joke for like 100 odd episodes. Fuck off. Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I give it to Walking Furby. I mean Larigo.
Okay. Walking Furby would be Furbus from the spin-off Masked Rider. True. He still counts during this era. Let's not forget Masked Rider still counts during this era.
You're right. I apologize. That's true. I give it to Larigo from the Turbo movie.
Larigo from Turbo looks exactly like the guy from the Masters of the Universe movie with the key.
Ah, okay.
Like, look that up if you haven't seen that movie. He looks exactly like him.
Okay. But yeah, somewhere along the way for the Turbo movie, and then they brought it back in the TV series. They had this idea of, we need another wizard that's going to come and bear an important role. Okay, fair plot point. I know. Let's make him this little tiny furry dude that can't talk, and then introduce his little furry wife and kid later as a further plot point. Like, why? Like, these could have just been like normal people, and everybody would have been like, even if you want to make it like an old dude that couldn't do much, that would have been fine. But no, we're gonna go out of our way to waste money on this ridiculous costume.
This was the guy from Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, he kind of looks like him. Yeah.
And that wasn't good either.
No, not at all. But yeah, no, Larigo he was only there in both occasions. He was there. He was purely there as a plot device. And like, if you were bringing a plot device character, you could have saved a lot of money in effects by not doing a stupid little suit like that. Like, I don't know who you were trying to appeal to with that. If it was the audience of Power Rangers, yeah, they were kids, but they were tuning in to see teenagers put on spandex and fight giant monsters. A little furry thing doesn't really fit that theme. But yeah, I don't know. Just Larigo just was useless to me. I'm like, this is stupid. Like,
I don't like him. He was terrible.
Well, all right. So moving on from the Ally Supporting Cast, we have the worst base or hangout.
I'm going to say this might be nitpicking, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
The Juice Bar.
Okay.
How the fuck is that still open? Also, I'm sorry for anyone watching if they are little kids and this has swearing. Yeah, I apologize. But how the hell is that still open? Like, literally every event or significant moment on there was literally only there to tie to the lives of 6 teenagers who happen to sometimes order drinks there. What the hell? Like, my local sports centre, if they only try to appeal to 6 people, they'd fucking go under within like a week. I was like, oh, we got a gymnastics thing on right when it's time for Kimberly to have to suddenly remember she did gymnastics 3 years later.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, look, now we're doing karate right at the exact moment that we are suddenly meant to be doing Jason's story. Oh, okay. Now we're doing ballet. All the times we've done ballet before. No. Oh, it's fine because this moment exists just for Tommy to go, oh, when he sees Cat stretch and then Rocky beat him. Why? The G-Spot's terrible. It served no point. It was literally a giant plot point, and I didn't like that. Like, it had no character of its own. It was just like, everything's here.
That's fair. And I can understand that. Fun fact about that was actually tweeted out by the Power Rangers Now account a couple of weeks ago, because they tweet out fun facts every once in a while. Apparently, early on there was some original idea that they never ended up using, that Ernie was going to be Zordon in disguise, watching the Rangers in their normal lives, which made no goddamn sense.
It didn't. Personally, I prefer the hangout from the pilot when they're in the bowling alley.
Yeah, that was cool.
Would logically hang out in bowling alley. There's no plot relevance to it. They're just bowling.
Yeah, and that would have worked.
And then they beat the shit out of Bulk and Skull.
Yep. All right. Now, I don't remember if this was actually the name of it or not, because that's the reason I'm getting to it. So I think it was Adele's. It might have been Adele's Surf Shack or something like that, or Adele's something. But Adele's a proprietor. It's that place that they hung out in space. And I give it to that because I don't even fucking remember that place. Because I remember it exists, but I don't remember anything about it. Like, I think 2 years ago when they had Morphicon and the actress who played Adele was invited, I had to look up who she was. I'm like, wait, they weren't at the juice bar in space? What was this place? I don't even remember this.
Yeah, it's because in space they hung out on the ship a lot.
Yeah.
As well.
Now, my thing is, like, I always forget they went to Earth and did some hangouts, and when they did, I thought they were in the juice bar. I didn't realize it was a different location. So, I'm into that just for not being memorable. No offense to the actress, who I'm sure is wonderful. That just was not a memorable locale in my mind. All right, worst morpher.
Space. And the only reason why is, I argue to you, how many seasons or how many morphers were there before Space?
At least 4. Maybe
how many of them? How many of them were accidentally picked up by a child and made sure we get battleizers from here on out?
That is true.
Therefore, I had to give it to that one, because even Billy's morpher, when it fell out, and yeah, okay, they morphed because they knew how and stuff like that. But if a normal person picked up Billy's morpher, let's say in MMPR, they wouldn't morph. They wouldn't go, oh, hang on, and suddenly change who he was.
Yeah.
This one, a child just pushes buttons randomly, and they're like, okay. Like, they hadn't thought, what if someone gets a hold of this? Also, why is there a button combo that makes him more powerful and you don't know it? What?
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute here. I feel like the KO35 engineers would have mentioned that at some point.
Huh. Oh, by the way, there's like cheat mode in here. But yeah, I gave it to Space only because of that. Because that was terrible. Because the morpher gave us that.
Yeah. They're probably like Zordon. They probably prescribed one of those stupid don't escalate a battle rules.
You could still know it existed.
Yeah, you would think.
It's like the Rangers still know there's Ultra Zord. They just don't use it as often as they could because they want to escalate a battle.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, worst morpher, I give it to Turbo only because I never liked that whole, you have to have a key and you have to do, and how do you exactly get it in the hole every single time when you're barely looking at it? Like, nobody can do that.
Yeah, they can. I've seen the actors go and do it instantly, and people online do it a lot.
All right, it just always seemed like a really impractical morpher to me.
Especially it's kind of impractical.
Especially when I believe they did specific episodes where, like, one of them lost their key and then they can't morph and they got to get it back.
Yeah, but what about in the movie when Rocky was injured? So they need a new Ranger, and Justin had the hindsight to know to look under his mat to get the spare key and transform into the Blue Ranger.
With that movie, I wouldn't have put it past them.
Exactly how it happened.
All right. Moving along, the worst main villain.
This is going to annoy the crap out of Jim.
Okay.
Dark Spectre.
I can understand why.
1, he's a reused costume.
He is.
And 2, we spent how many episodes building up this ultimate evil? Then he appears for 2 seconds, goes, gets hit with a missile and dies.
That is true.
I'm like completely useless. I don't like it. No, all the other main villains at least did something. Like, I argue on his first appearance, Lord Zed wiped out the fucking Zords.
Yep.
which is why in the Justice League comic they shouldn't have the Dino Zords, as we mentioned, but he wiped out the Zords. Whoa! Rita, in her stint, managed to wipe out the Green Ranger, kind of, with the candle. Obviously, Zordon managed to essentially restart him, like, I don't know, starting up a car when you do spark wires and stuff. That's fine, that's cool. Dark Spectre did nothing besides, haha, everyone else is doing stuff because the Stromber's leading my army for me and telling them what to do. I'm going to emerge and then blow up. He's completely unstoppable. Gets stopped.
Yep. That is true. All right. I give it to King Mondo only because I felt like he had a whole royal family that he didn't do nearly enough. Like once in a while he would be on the field. Even when he didn't really. Except I think the only time he was really there was the time that he got blown up. Yes, he eventually came back because they rebuilt him, but it's like, no. Two reasons. Number one, you fail because of that. Number two, you're allowed your empire to get taken over by a monster of the week made by Rita and Zed.
Yep.
Like you clearly fail.
Yep. Well, I would argue with him. Isn't it meant to be the whole dynamic of running it together? Because he always gets input from his wife and kid, and then didn't his other kids then usurp him?
He did, yeah. Prince Gasket usurped him at one point. Which was, admittedly, that was a good storyline.
It was. I liked when they had the younger ones taken over and they did King for a day and stuff like that. I was like, that's cool. Like, they had way cooler plans.
They did. All right, moving on along. The worst lieutenant or evil ranger.
Yep, and I will say for the record, as me and Jim went through this, by lieutenant, we don't mean literally the only one with the right-hand guy. We just mean a reoccurring villain that's more than like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Because this guy isn't a lieutenant.
Okay.
As such, there was another one in there I'd probably count as the lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
Gave it to fucking Elgar.
So did I.
Because I would argue the lieutenant in that one's the big dude.
Yeah.
He's more the Goldar.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, he's more the Goldar of the group. But fuck Elgar, he's so annoying.
Yeah, he's so fucking annoying.
I almost gave it to Rito because Rito is almost as annoying. But then I remembered Elgar existed.
Yeah. I mean, when the villains who hate everyone, when the villains that you're supposed to be on their side don't like you and are constantly trying to get rid of you, you've clearly failed.
Yep.
Your own family, your fucking aunt hates you, for God's sake.
Yep.
All right. Moving along, the worst foot soldiers.
Huh? Oh, okay. I had Monsters of the Week first, but I'll go with Foot Soldiers.
Oh, I had those two reversed.
Worst, I went with Ooze-Man from the movie. I'd argue, like me and Jim have joked before now, like there's the Z putties that when you hit them, they explode instantly. But you have to hit them on the chest. The Ooze-Man, you can hit them from anywhere, and as long as they hit any other device, they splatter. They're water balloon enemies. They're useless. It's like, why? Why are these a thing?
I don't know. Yeah, I actually gave it to the Z putties just because, hey, I'm Lord Zed. I'm taking over. I have a good idea. I know how to make these putties better. Put a giant self-destruct target right on their chest.
They were bad for that reason. I'm going to make the case, which we'll get to in a sec. Lord Zed is an amazing main villain, but made way too many horrible decisions.
He did. All right. The worst monster of the week.
Speaking of his worst decisions.
Yeah.
Fucking Pursehead.
I also included the lipstick monster with it as a pair, but yes.
Pursehead, because Lord Zed is ultimate evil and stuff, and he's like, I don't need Finster, I can do better monsters, and he fired Finster. Okay, fine.
Which is hilarious because Robert Axelrod firing himself.
Yeah, he turns a purse into an enemy. I'd argue it's slightly worse than the fact most Rangers have swords. Like, swords are the weapon more Rangers have, and he made an enemy out of a paper lantern.
Yeah.
But Per said it's like that's not scary. It's just a purse. This isn't his best work. I was joking to Simon before. If I was there, I'd literally be like condescending Wonka pose. So tell me again how Finster isn't needed.
Yeah.
Well, here you go, Lord Zed. Have a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry.
Yeah, exactly. That was so dumb.
Why? Why was it Per's head?
Yeah. And the funny part of that is he did that not once but twice, because he also did the impersonator in freaking Zeo.
Yep. I will admit, he also gave us one of the better villains. I loved that white monkey.
The monkey was cool.
I'm saying that because he hasn't got my best, but I love that white monkey that could change into people, and I was like, oh, that's such a cool ending. Like he stood out all these years later. I can still remember the white monkey.
Yeah, only I had it on video, so the one I always remember is from When There's Smoke, There's Fire, when he turned the grill into a fire-breathing dude on a horse. That was cool.
That was cool, yeah. He made some great decisions, but he also made some terrible ones.
He did. All right, next up, the worst Zord.
Battleborgs. Because we went from dinosaurs to mythical creatures, to they look just like us but bigger.
Yep.
It's dumb. Even the other ones, when they did ones later, like Shoguns and stuff that were similar, were better than them. I just didn't like the battle bugs. That's just me personally. I really didn't like the battle bugs.
That's fair. I give it to Tor the Shuttle Zord because it's like, oh, it's a turtle. And
how dare you?
What?
When he's doing that, and he's like, oh, and crushes them. That's awesome.
And I just never felt it lived up to Titanus, which is just a much cooler Zord.
It didn't, but that was still cool. And the Red Ranger's the one spins and goes, and crushes.
That's true.
But no, I can see why. Yeah, he's just a giant turtle.
Yeah,
Honorable mention, I almost gave it to the wheel from Zeo.
I also considered the wheel.
But I really like him. I don't know why. He's so stupid that I loved him when he transformed. I'm like, I like him. I don't know why, because he's a dumb Zord.
He is. All right, the worst gadget or communicator.
I'm gonna let you go first for this one.
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna go to MMPR season 3-ish and give it to a device that Billy built that worked one time and then destroyed the power coins.
Fair enough.
And I guess it made him older again, but you destroyed the power coins and almost screwed everybody.
Well, fair enough. I let Jim go first because I thought he might have the same one. I was like, last couple when we've had the same one, I spoke before.
That's fair.
So I was like, oh, okay, but it didn't work out well. Mine was completely different.
Okay.
Put to you, what's more useless than the letter P in the word pneumonia? It's the first letter, in case you're wondering. But yeah.
Oh, pneumonia. I gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Or the P in pterodactyl. But yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's the Turbo Navigator. They literally have a device to tell them where the monsters are, despite the fact for 4 fucking years they've never needed this. Despite the fact they go to the command center and it tells them where the monster is. It always sends them to the monster. They have a device just to track the monster. It's like, newsflash, he's probably over there. And they normally use it in the Zord, which means he's giant. I'm sorry, if they put you down somewhere and you can't see a 50-foot monster destroying the city and you can't tell that everyone's running from one spot, you shouldn't be a ranger.
No.
You're kind of useless. I hate that device has no purpose. I mean, it becomes a weapon, kind of, but then that's a different form, but that's just a useless mode. I hate it.
Oh, that's good. All right. The worst weapon.
Satellite stunner from space. It looked dumb. That's the only reason I gave it that. It's not necessarily impractical. I think it probably did something. It just looked goofy. I just didn't like how it looked. It's a satellite on the end of a gun.
That's fair. Mine kind of was the same way. I went with the Green Ranger's cannon from Turbo just because it was big and unwieldy, and it didn't look like anything that should be That should be what's what I'm looking for here? Classified as a handheld weapon. I always thought, even when from the first time I saw the Turbo movie, I'm like, okay, sword, cool. Okay, you got an advanced bow thing, cool. All right, you got 2 hand blasters, that's neat. You have this giant fuck off thing, like what? No, you look like an idiot.
It's a bazooka.
It didn't look like a bazooka. It didn't look good. It looked impractical the way he was carrying it and using it. I don't know. It didn't look practical.
No, I can understand why.
All right, the worst mentor.
You want me to ask who's the worst mentor?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Oh God.
Of course, Zordon.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I went with Demetria.
Yeah.
Who? Why? Why all the questions? They're just wasting time.
She's from the planet Inquirus.
And years later, it's made much worse because Zordon's because she was sent there to replace Zordon in the hour of need, apparently.
Yeah.
And we have Gosei and people that showed there's at least other mentors out there that have worked with Zordon that are heads. We don't need woman covering her face and just asking questions. It's like, oh, you're terrible. You literally only exist so we care that Zordon's been kidnapped because by comparison, he is a fantastic leader.
Yes, and also so we can work in a subtle, never fully confirmed storyline about you being Divatox's sister.
Let's face it, she's his Niles.
Yeah.
She exists only so he looks better.
Pretty much.
I don't think that's the reason they were going for with that. I think they were trying to do something cool. I don't think they were trying to make Zordon look better by making someone so incompetent, but
yeah.
Okay, there we are.
All right. Worst Ranger.
The Gold Ranger.
Okay.
Not Jason. I will specify.
Okay.
Jason is amazing when he came back as Gold. I love Jason. That's a level of. I didn't like him as Red, but when he came back as Gold, he's awesome. But we spent half a season going, oh, is it Billy? Oh, is it Tommy's brother that's just showing up? Oh, is it this? Ooh. It's 3 aliens you've never seen that are stuck together via fusion. Oh. And we're supposed to care?
Apparently.
Literally, his existence, I don't know if it's cheating or not, that's fine, but his existence only ruins a great mystery. It's like at the end of Scooby-Doo, if you unmask him, it's someone you've never seen all episode.
Yeah. That's a good comparison.
There'd be no point.
that is an excellent comparison. All right. I'm going to be honest, and I don't really hate him. I gave it to Carlos from Turbo only because he was boring. Like, he had no personality. Like, he was there just to be a ranger that they had. And, and occasionally talk to Cassie a little bit. But, like, he's the least of that entire group, which I don't know. But he was just, like, the least memorable of that group. And I always just felt like, I always know, yeah, Carlos was there, but there's nothing memorable about Carlos. And the only thing that you could consider is the one time in space when he turned into a bug alien.
Fair enough. Well, I did have honorable mentions for that.
Oh, okay.
Mine were from Turbo of Justin and Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, because I don't need to say it, he's terrible.
Yeah.
The only reason Trey beat him out is because he ruined half a season's great mystery. Like, once Justin was introduced, you weren't exactly disappointed. You were just pissed he was there.
Yeah.
Tanya, I argue she's less memorable than Carlos.
Okay.
Because I've said it before now, most of her dialogue since she existed in, I think when she existed in Zio, at least, it was just Aisha's dialogue resaid. She felt like, oh, it's Aisha. Like, some of the half time, you're like, why did they change the actress that plays Aisha? She's got the same personality, same quirks, same interests. Oh, you just hired a different black actress, gave her a different name, and just kept the script. That's kind of shit.
A little bit. And I think it was because Karen actually wanted to leave the show. I think that was why they had to do that.
Oh, I can understand that, but I would, like a lot of shows would if they had to do that, change your personality slightly.
Yeah,
Give
you
us
would
some
think.
uniqueness.
Something. All right, the worst Ranger team or specific lineup of Ranger team.
Alien Rangers.
Yeah, I figured you were going there.
Because, as I mentioned to Simon before, I know Jim probably will, and that's fine. If you say to people, name the Alien Rangers, no one can remember a single one. I mean, when I was mentioning it to Simon, he struggled to remember the name of the red one, and then he could kind of remember him, but they're a team of bland. Their whole team exists of, oh, you're not our Rangers, get out of here. You took our jobs. Damn aliens coming over here and taking our jobs.
They took our jobs.
They did, they took our jobs. Then they took our Billy.
They did. Fair enough.
If I had my way, I would build a wall around Aquitar, keep those aliens out.
Of course you would.
I wouldn't. I'd just pull the plug and watch them die.
Oh. Anyway, I gave it to the lineup in the second half of Turbo, only because I felt like that was a really weak team, and I felt like part of the reason was just because of the structure. Because, I felt like TJ was a decent character, but he wasn't really leader material. And I felt like that hurt the overall team. Justin, I don't really need to say anything about the problems with him. Ashley was just...
No. What particular thing was it about the first black leader that you think you didn't want someone like him leading the team? Please elaborate.
Funny. Like I said, I like TJ as a character. I just felt like when they brought him in, he wasn't
you
living
like him as a character. You just want him in his place. That's what you're saying.
No, this is not a race thing. Goddammit.
I know it's not. It's just terrible. He's a terrible Red Ranger.
I know. And admittedly, he might not have looked as bad if we weren't coming off of Tommy of all people.
Yep. Well, I will make the case. Tommy came off a Red Ranger that was useless.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Only because Rocky, obviously, in case people thought I was taking a dig at Jason, I wasn't. When Rocky was Red Ranger, he kind of didn't do anything. I like Rocky. Really. I love Rocky. I love Rocky as a character. I loved him in Zeo and stuff, but he was just there.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was the writing or if it was development of the character, but I always felt like Rocky and TJ felt both into the same kind of thing, where they started off as a Red Ranger and they weren't bad, but they didn't really excel. But then they became Blue Rangers, and their characters just seemed to be better written or whatever.
Yeah, they also both tended to come off amazing characters people liked. Like, as much as I don't like him, I know people loved Jason as the Red Ranger.
Yep.
It would be hard to match or to fill his boots, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to fill Tommy's boots.
Yeah. But and I just like the whole team was like I said, Carlos wasn't that memorable. Justin was Justin. TJ did a decent job as leader, but just it wasn't quite there. And then, I mean, Cassie and Ashley were okay, but it always just felt like that team overall was just a little weak to me. And I think part of it was just the perception of they were brought in halfway through a season to replace a memorable known team that had been generally ongoing through the whole thing. And I feel like they brought that in and they didn't really adjust the writing properly, and it really just didn't work at all based on what they were doing. And it's not like that any of them are bad performers, because I mean, Justin was a kid. I cut him a little slack for being a bad actor because he was a kid. And the other four, when they got to space, were good and enjoyable for the most part. They were much better when they got to space. I feel like it was just that they weren't being written very well in Turbo because the writers didn't know what to do. But then when they got to space and they were like, throw it all at the wall, we're ending the show anyway, it suddenly got good.
Yep, I can see that.
Yeah, so I just felt that was a very weak team. I mean, let's be honest. How bad of a team do you have to be to get baked into a giant pizza?
Still not the worst thing that's happened in Power Rangers, despite how big that episode become just for quoting.
Also, given that it was most of the same team members, how did that happen? And how did nobody mention that to the Ninja Turtles next season? Because they would have gotten a kick out of that.
The Ninja Turtles didn't mention that they like giant pizzas.
That's true.
Only near the end, and it didn't come up.
That's fair. Anyway, moving
Also,
along.
I will mention the thing I mentioned to Simon before with mentors.
Okay.
When I said Demetria as the worst mentor, which he said was kind of harsh, but I was like, couldn't he have killed her instead of Zordon? They're both in the same energy tubes. They'd probably release the same amount of energy, but then we'd still have Zordon.
Yeah,
He chose poorly.
he did.
No, I'm kidding. I understand why he did, because he had no choice because of where Zordon was located.
Yeah, yeah. So, worst episode.
I went with Passing of the Torch, parts 1 and 2.
Okay.
I mentioned this before. Some fans in the fandom will say I'm overreacting to it, and that's fine. However, I argue I'm not, and I know other people in the fandom have also said they felt the same way. I argue to you, up until this point, when Power Rangers say, "Oh, Billy's afraid," now he's overcome his fear. It's telling us we should overcome our fears.
Yeah, that makes
Ooh,
sense.
the Rangers need to pick up environment. We need to pick up their litter to help the environment. It's telling us we need to do that. It's a message to the kids. When it comes to here, and the whole message of the whole episode is the original Rangers are too old. Let's move on.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like they're saying to the fans that have watched since MMPR first began, you're too old. Don't watch this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll admit, since that episode, I've not liked it as much. I mean, I got back into a few seasons here or there, but it kind of killed a lot of love for the series because then they went into that generic let's replace them every year almost, and I don't like that.
And that is entirely fair, and I agree. Not only that, but we have the added punch in the nuts of, oh look, here's Zordon. Oh, he's back. Oh, and then he's gone again. And here's Larico just to piss you off more.
Yep. And here's the Alien Rangers dancing on Zordon's grave.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, no, they didn't go that far, but yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, the whole thing was.
Was that also your one?
Yes, except one other thing, and I wasn't sure if it counted. Does Alpha's Magical Christmas count?
I'd count it. We did it so we could include the movies.
Yeah, Alpha's Magical Christmas, because as much as I won't deny that as a kid, I'm like, oh, it's Alpha and they're singing songs. Oh, this is kind of cool. I watch it. I'm like, in retrospect, I'm like, okay, number one, you destroyed continuity by showing the Rangers helping Santa with the Green Ranger, and then Tommy teleports in as White. And then on top of that, the entire premise is let's just kidnap a bunch of random children.
I'm going to make the case. If your argument is continuity in Power Rangers,
true. You're not wrong. But that was like like more blatant than usual. And then the whole premise, two things. Number one, we're just going to randomly kidnap children. And number two, Alpha and Zordon aren't even like from this planet. Like, they celebrate Christmas? Like, that just seemed.
To be fair, they've been on our planet for thousands of years or hundreds. I mean, yeah. Kimberly found them in the Wild West. They've been observing humanity. They could have said, "Oh, okay, I like Christmas."
Like I said, it just seemed really forced. Like I like the fact that okay, there's Christmas songs, it's fun, but it just it didn't. It was clearly just a cash in to make money. It didn't need to exist. You couldn't even afford to pay all the Rangers to show up.
Oh, I completely agree. So like I said, the reason I gave the Passing of the Torch is I feel the message of that one's worse.
Yeah, and I can understand that was going to be it if that didn't count. It was going to be Passing of the Torch, so that worked.
Oh no, Alpha's Magical Christmas does count. I'd see no reason not to.
Yes. So, fair enough. And then finally, for the worst, we have the worst season.
Alien Rangers.
Turbo.
Yeah, but Alien Rangers, because name a good episode of the Alien Rangers?
Yeah, you really can't.
I can name a good episode of all the others, at least.
Yeah, that's I give it to Turbo more because it started off, and even if the movie was lackluster, it started off as a halfway decent season, and then they did that whole Passing of the Torch thing. It was like that destroyed the whole season. That annoyed me more than at least going into Alien Rangers, we knew, oh, this is going to be shit. Whereas with Turbo, oh, this might actually be not that bad.
I'm going to make the case we didn't know that with that because let's face facts, especially people my age, when it first came on. We were like 8 or like 5 or 8-ish when it came out, and I didn't know it was going to be shit. I was just like, wait, they're kids now and they're 8. What's going on? And then it suddenly hit me how terrible it was. I wasn't like looking at it like with the eyes we do now. Of like when I saw the new, we're doing Go Busters next year, and I'm like, well, I'm skipping that.
Mm-hmm.
Like even this season when they're like, oh, for Super Dino, no, what the fuck are we on? Super Ninja Steel. Look, we got all these ones back. It's cool. A couple of my favorites back, but I'm still like, this just feels the same thing you did last season or the season before, whichever one it was. It would depend on whether or not you want to count the 2 as one season. And I'm like, I know, it just feels the same. I'm like, I know, I'm not exactly going. Ooh, it's like on the wrestling. Whenever they show Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the $1 Million Man and stuff, you don't get the same. Ooh, it's like when someone you haven't seen for like ever suddenly comes out and they haven't done one of those returns for like years. Yeah, oh god, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when The Rock showed up for WrestleMania after 7 years, that was a big deal.
It was, and I'd argue, obviously, characters like Tommy deserve to be there. He is huge and stuff. However, because they've done this a couple of years ago with every Ranger ever coming back, apparently, even though you didn't see them all, I would argue it's a case of, yeah, you can't. No, I don't. I'm not as hyped for it.
That's fair.
But yeah, Alien Rangers.
All right. Alrighty.
And Jim went Turbo.
Like I said, I went Turbo just for the reasons I mentioned before. I felt like it was just a weak season. And in all fairness, ratings wise, it did almost kill the franchise.
And please, people below, feel free to leave comments on how James needs to be deleted because he has gone Turbo.
Nice. All right.
Join us in just a few seconds or so. For the best.
Did that movie come out already? I need to see Wreck-It Ralph 2.
No, I don't. I haven't seen the second one, but I know the Going Turbo was in the first, so the reference still counts.
It was. Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, we'll see in just a few minutes, and we're going to do our best of the Zordon era. See you then.